Urban Legend tells the story of a serial killer on a college campus going around killing people based off urban legends. Now, Urban Legend was released in 1998, kind of in the heyday of the post-Scream era. So many Scream knockoffs or horror movies that capitalize off the success of Scream came out, and for me, Urban Legend is actually one of the better ones. I still have a blast with this movie every time I watch it. I love this movie, and the cast alone is insane. You got Robert Englund, who plays Freddy Krueger. You got Brad Dourif, the voice of Chucky. Danielle Harris, awesome Scream queen in her own right, which I think she's a little underrated. She's great, and she still does way more movies now, even after the Halloween films. And you got a very young Jared Leto. You got Michael Rosenbaum, who for me is still the best Lex Luthor ever. Alyssa Witt, who I think is maybe the weakest person in the movie. She's still good, but like she's surrounded by like a stellar cast. Loretta Devine is awesome in this movie. She kind of steals the show in her scenes. She's so great and charismatic. I love Loretta Devine in this. Even Joshua Jackson from Mighty Ducks, Dawson's Creek. Just an insane cast if you think about it. That, man, this was a great up-and-coming cast, and some people that's been around for a while in this movie. And I think this has one of the best openings out there. I think this has a great opening that sets the tone of the movie. You got this girl, she's driving down on a rainy night, and she runs out of gas. She stops at a gas station, and of course we get the great Brad Dourif in this opening scene, and he kind of notices something in the back seat, and he starts acting all weird. He tells the girl to go inside, and the credit card company's on the phone, and she goes in there, and of course the phone's disconnected or whatever, and she has a little fight. She gets out there, she gets to her car and drives off, and I love the reveal of Brad Dourif saying there's someone in the back seat.
Someone's in the back seat!
What a very tense, awesome opening. And then she drove off, and then somebody actually was in the backseat and they chop off her head. I think it's a great opening. It sets the tone very well. It's a very underrated opening and a very well done opening that I think deserves a little more love. Not quite up there with Scream, but I think it's pretty close. It's a dang good opening. And then we kind of get introduced to all our characters in this movie. And this has some great kills too because of the urban legend concept. You got Joshua Jackson. He gets killed by like the Hookman legend. Even Michael Rosenbaum's death is really good, where he finds his dog in the microwave. Then he like gets all that Drano and like Pop Rocks and in the bathroom. What a great death. And then I think the three horror legends, I think they all do a great job in the small roles they're given. Like Danielle Harris is like the sex-crazed goth girl. She's Alyssa Witt's roommate. She does very good in the small role she's given, and they kind of set up her death very well, like in the beginning scenes, and then when her death actually happens, it actually is a payoff to everything that was set up. And aren't you glad you didn't turn on the lights, Urban Legend? And there's a lot of red herrings, which I think work very well. Like the janitor, he's straight up like one of the biggest red herrings. I think this guy is very good in this movie. And I think he's kind of an underrated actor. He's in he played Death in Supernatural, and he's done some other stuff. And he's always good every time I see him. Of course, they use Robert Englund as a red herring as well. And I think he's not in a lot of the movie, but when he's in the movie, he kind of he has that presence. He is Freddy Krueger. He's amazing, and he's a good setup to be in a red herring. And I love the climax of this movie where like the girls open the trunk and there's Robert Englund's dead body right there, and that was the last person you think you'd see there, because you kind of was thinking maybe he is the killer. And I love Tara Reid's chase scene and death scene in the radio station or whatever. I think Tara Reid is really good in her role in this, and her entire scene is pretty tense and pretty suspenseful even today. I love this scene, and it's a pretty good death. Even if it's off screen, it still works very well because the whole chase scene leading into Tara Reid's death is very, very good. when they reveal Rebecca Gayheart, I love her performance in this. She goes absolutely insane. Her hair is all frizzed out like insanity. And I feel like Rebecca Gayheart should have been a lot bigger actress than what she was. She was actually so good in this. She played psychotic very well. She turned it up, kind of like Stu Macher and Billy Loomis. A lot of people kind of in the late 90s when they're revealed, they kind of act insane like that. She kind of channeled the Stu Macher insanity, and she did very well.
Don't you move.
And I think the ending of this is very good too, and I love that, like, that you think they killed Rebecca Gayheart, and they're like Jared Leto and Alyssa Witt's driving off, and Jared Leto's like, so when does the twist happen? And Rebecca Gayheart jumps up in the back seat, tries to kill him again, and they wreck and she goes into the lake. And then it flash forwards to like all these kids talking about these urban legends at this campus. They're telling the story of the movie itself, and then it reveals Rebecca Gayheart's still alive, and she tells them, hey, let me tell you how the story actually goes, and then bam, the movie ends.
I believe you.
Thank you.
But you didn't tell it right.
I didn't.
Not at all. Okay, listen up, guys. This is how the story really goes.
Overall, I still love Urban Legend. I think it's one of the more really fun, if you want to call it, Scream knockoffs of the late 90s. I think it's one of the ones that holds up better than some of the others. It's one of my top tier late 90s horror movies that followed Scream. I love this movie. If I had to give this movie a rating, I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. It's not a perfect movie, but I have a blast every time I watch it, and I can't highly recommend Urban Legend enough. If you haven't seen this movie in a very long time, check it out. It holds up pretty well, and if you've never seen it, I think you'll have a blast with the ride of this movie. So yeah, check out Urban Legend. Such a fun time. Now guys, go down in the comment section below and give me your thoughts on Urban Legend. Do you love this movie? Do you think it holds up as well as I do? And just give me all your thoughts on this movie down below. And stay tuned. This channel is fully dedicated to horror movies. So hit that like and subscribe button, and I will definitely see you guys next time. Bye guys.